Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first two episodes of NWA Power of 2027. We only have these two episodes before we head off to Las Vegas for NWA The House Always Wins, in which we'll see Ortiz take on Chris Brooks for the NWA World Heavyweight Championship. We'll see Lexi Cabrera take on Kenzie Page for the NWA World Women's Championship. And we'll see Doza take on Punishment Martinez. But we do have a lot to get through in these next two episodes of NWA Power. So without further ado, we will get the show started. So the pre-show kicks off with a 6-woman tag team match. As a new 6-woman faction, or only 3-woman faction, being the Iron Roses, being Tanya Grunge, Marion, and the debuting Isabel Ray, defeat Sophia Newton and the King Bees, who are returning to the NWA just for this one night. And it is the Iron Roses that get the win here. Again, it is a decent 28 rated match. Again, it's decent for the pre-show. It's decent for the fact that these 3 women, or these 6 women, aren't exactly the best. The Iron Roses, all 3 of them, and Sophia Newton are just regenerated wrestlers. So they are very young and haven't had many matches behind them, but they do get decent ratings. They obviously can improve. Isabel Ray gets an 18, Marion a 22, and Tanya Grunge a 27. Those are the 3 permanent members of the roster. The other 3, again, we don't really mind about, but again, is a decent match. The next match obviously gets far better, getting a 66. This is our usual eye candy match, as Brandi Lauren and Natalia Markova defeat Christy Janes and Promise Braxton in 6 minutes and 1 second when Brandi Lauren pins Promise Braxton. Again, it is a really good 66 rated match here. These eye candy matches may end up moving onto the main show if they continue to get this level of ratings, but now we'll move on to the main show. The main show opens up with a 72 rated segment as Chris Brooks storms into Stephanie McMahon's office, in which he sees Corey Graves, Kane and Ortiz. He says that he wants Ortiz tonight, but he is met with a resounding no from Corey Graves. Corey Graves says that Chris Brooks is in no frame of mind to be here tonight, so he's going to send him home for these next 2 tapings, and he has Kane escort Chris Brooks out of the building. So Brooks has been sent home for these 2 tapings. He's not here because Kane has sent him out. So we'll have to see what the regime are going to get up to without Chris Brooks, without the NWA World Heavyweight Championship here for these next 2 tapings. We'll then go to our first match of these tapings as Breeze defeats Jack Cartwheel with an implant DDT following an interference from someone. Again, we'll find out who that someone is in a second, but it is a decent 54 rated match, and the rivalry between the Southern Six and Gucci continues. The rest of Gucci then come down to the ring, this being Matt Lee and Robbie E. They introduce the first of the 2 members that they promised. He is their brand new Mexican stylist, Marcos. Again, their other member that they are going to introduce will be taking on Alex Taylor for the NWA World Junior Heavyweight Championship at The House Always Wins, but they're not going to reveal who that is just yet. So Gucci do have a new member in the brand new Mexican stylist, Marcos. We'll then go backstage to Bishop Dyer and Spencer Slade. They say they're coming to NWA The House Always Wins to test themselves, but their next test presents itself immediately as the professionals interrupt them, and they say they are going to answer their challenge. So it seems like in Las Vegas at NWA The House Always Wins, it is going to be Bishop Dyer and Spencer Slade taking on EC3 and Trevor Murdoch, the professionals, for the NWA World Tag Team Championships. We then go once again to a Masha Slamovich vignette, but this time she is not on her own. She has Jordan Devlin with her. Devlin says when the world throws you out, all you can do is rebuild from the bottom. And he says they are both coming at NWA The House Always Wins. So it does seem like Masha Slamovich and Jordan Devlin have formed an alliance here and are coming in Las Vegas. We'll then go backstage once again to Mike Mondo. He says that he'll be waiting for Weber Hatfield in Las Vegas at The House Always Wins. He wants to prove that he is right and the NWA needs a revolution. So he's going to be waiting for him. He is putting out the challenge finally to Weber Hatfield to see if he's actually going to show up. We'll then go to our next match, which is a 60 rated match for the NWA United States Tag Team Championships, as the Regime, being number 1 and number 2, managed to defeat the Hit Squad and Los Hermanos de la Jungla in just under 10 minutes when number 1 pins Fight Panther Jr. Again, it is a really good 60 rated match. Number 2 is unfortunately off his game, but does get a 40, number 1 gets a 60, and everyone else gets between like a 47 and a 53, which is really good ratings. The Hit Squad have lost their first piece of gold here, but it is to the Regime of number 1 and number 2. We'll then see Punishment Martinez. Again, we haven't seen him at the NWA since Into the Fire. He says he's not a member of the Regime, he's just a paid mercenary, and he is going to destroy Dozer at the House Always Wins. So if we remember, it is going to be Martinez against Dozer in Las Vegas, so we'll see who comes out on top. We then go backstage once again, see Kenzie Page. She walks straight up to Lexi Cabrera and Yuka Sakazaki as they're talking about Las Vegas. She says she doesn't need Stephanie McMahon or the Queendom to beat Lexi. She's coming to Vegas to beat Lexi and end this rivalry once and for all. So it seems like there's going to be no Queendom interference, no Queendom ringside during this match. It is just going to be a straight one-on-one between Kenzie Page and Lexi Cabrera. We'll then go to our main event of the evening as Ortiz manages to defeat Starboy Charlie in about 13 minutes by pinfall. Again, it is a really good 71 rated match here. Starboy Charlie was unfortunately off his game, getting a 54. Ortiz does well and gets a 67. So it is a strong main event. But the show is not quite over yet as Ortiz, looking to prove his dominance, grabs a chair and he looks like he's going to attack Starboy Charlie until Alec Price and RVD sprint down to the ring to make the save. A furious Alec Price grabs the microphone and says if Ortiz wants a fight, then he can fight him next week, but in a no DQ match so he can use the chair all he wants. So it does seem like we are going to have Ortiz against Alec Price next week in a no DQ match for the main event of NWA Power. This show does get a 74 rating, which has been quite the theme over the last few shows, as we've seen a lot of shows are getting a 74. Does increase our popularity in 38 regions, which obviously is very good. But now I'll see you in the second taping of NWA Power. So we open up the second taping of NWA Power with a pretty terrible 18 rated match as Oleg Boltin defeats Shadrach Dugal in about 5.5 minutes. Oleg Boltin has been let go by New Japan. He was let go by New Japan quite a while ago, probably about a year ago now, but he is coming back from a broken neck. That's why we haven't used him sooner than this. That's why he's also rusty, because again, he hasn't wrestled in over a year, but he does get a 22 rating. Shadrach Dugal is another regenerated wrestler. He gets an 8. I don't think we'll ever be seeing him again, but Oleg Boltin is definitely someone I do want to use because his ratings or his stats are quite good. So hopefully, as that ring rust goes away and as his popularity begins to improve, he will become a useful member of the roster. In our next match, we have a 54 rated eye candy match as the Regime, or the Queendom, being Taylor Rice and Ashley D'Amboise, defeat Tiffany Nieves and Kylie Page when D'Amboise pins Tiffany Nieves. Again, Ashley D'Amboise is off her game but gets a 55. Taylor Rising gets a 55 as well. Nieves a 50 and Kylie Page a 48, but Kylie Page has a gimmick that is getting stale, so we may need to change that quite soon. But we'll now move on to the main show. So the main show opens up with a 72 rated promo as Stephanie McMahon is in her office with Kenzie Page. She says that Kenzie wants a completely clean match in Las Vegas, so Yuka Sakazaki will not be ringside with Lexi Cabrera. In fact, Yuka Sakazaki is not allowed to travel with the NWA roster to Las Vegas at all. So not only will she not be at the show, she will not even be in the state. So Yuka Sakazaki is banned from ringside and banned from travelling with the NWA roster. We'll then go backstage to see Gucci. Marcos, their new stylist who debuted last week, is picking out their outfits for Las Vegas. He says as their new stylist, they'll always look the best they can. This does get a 44. Matt Lee was fantastic. Marcos looked lost out there, but again, he is brand new to the NWA. He's brand new to wrestling altogether. We will see where he's from in an upcoming episode, because again, that will be one of our updates when we look at the backstage stuff at the end of The House Always Wins. We'll then go to a really good 68 rated match, as the NWA World Women's Tag Team Championships were on the line as Valkyrie and Mei Suruga make their first defense of those championships as they defeat Makoto and Yoshiko in a really good 68 rated match. This far exceeded my expectations. Valkyrie gets a 62, Mei Suruga a 55, Yoshiko a 51, and Makoto a 47. So a really strong match here from these four women. We'll then see Colton Gunn. He's backstage and he says he's come to Las Vegas to fight. He doesn't want to talk anymore. He's sick of not being on the show. He's sick of not having matches. He wants to prove himself. He wants to extend his undefeated streak, which he currently stands at 3-0. We then see Mike Mondo and Edith Surreal. They are back in the ring. Once again, they are calling out Weber Hatfield. But this time, their challenge is answered, as Weber Hatfield comes down from the crowd to face off with them. But before we get that face off, Weber Hatfield does have a match with Bestia, in which he beats him in 8 minutes and 9 seconds with a grand slam. Again, he is back. He gets a 50 rating, the same as Bestia, and it is a really good 54 rated match to welcome Weber Hatfield back to the NWA. After this, Weber Hatfield grabs a microphone though, with Mike Mondo and Edith Surreal still on the stage. He warns Mike Mondo about Edith Surreal. He says that if she betrayed him, she'll do the exact same to Mondo, so he needs to watch his back. It does seem like these two are going to face off at The House Always Wins, so we'll have to see what happens at that show, whether Weber Hatfield can regain the NWA World Television Championship, or will Mike Mondo retain with the help of Edith Surreal once again. We'll then go to a really good 57 rated match as Oliver Carter and Fuego del Sol do defeat Gucci in just under 10 minutes when Fuego del Sol pins Matt Lee with a 450 splash after a distraction from Silas Mason. We also saw Alex Taylor come out and attack Robbie E during the match as well, once again extending this rivalry between Gucci and the Southern Six. After this, the Southern Six say they want to take on Gucci one more time in another 6-man tag match in Las Vegas. But obviously they know that Alex Taylor can't be involved in that match because he's going to be facing the newest member of Gucci, who we don't actually know yet, for the Junior Heavyweight Championship. But they say they have a new member, a member that bleeds the NWA. So we'll find out exactly who that is at NWA, The House Always Wins. We then go to an excellent 81 rated promo. Dozer is backstage. He said he's ready for Punishment Martinez. He is going to do whatever it takes to end the regime, whether that means going through people like Kane or Corey Graves, or going through hired mercenaries like Punishment Martinez. He is going to do everything he can to end this new group. Then we go to our main event of the evening, as in a good 74 rated match, Ortiz manages to defeat Alec Price, however, after an interference from Kane. Again, it is a really good match here, a really strong match from these two. Alec Price gets a 63, Ortiz gets a 73, so a really strong match from these two. Alec Price certainly a future main eventer here in the NWA. But the show is not quite over yet, as Kane and Corey Graves, they come out and they hold on to RVD and Starboy Charlie, who come out to try and check on Alec Price. Ortiz then grabs 2 chairs from underneath the ring. He looks like he's about to concerto Alec Price and take him out of action, until Chris Brooks comes out from the crowd. Corey Graves and Kane sprint to the ring as Brooks attacks Ortiz. Corey Graves does manage to drag Ortiz out the ring, but he leaves Kane out there to receive a brutal chair shot from Chris Brooks, which busts him open completely. And the show ends with Chris Brooks standing tall with a bloody Kane laid out in the ring and a blood-covered chair sat in Chris Brooks' hands. So we'll see what happens as Ortiz challenges Chris Brooks for the NWA World Heavyweight Championship in Las Vegas. So this show once again gets a 74 rating. Again, this is a very common rating we get nowadays. Once again, it does increase our popularity in 38 regions. So we will have to see where those regions have obviously been increased and how much money we may have made or lost on these tapings. So we'll have a look at the financial report first of all. Again, we lost $17,000 on the show, which is completely fine. Again, 50,000 on workers. Obviously, workers are very high. Broadcast revenue is 10,000. Ticket sales 24,000. I'm sure we'll be able to handle this loss as we move into Las Vegas. Our popularity recap. Again, we've finally gone up to 58, so we are 1 point away from officially becoming a medium-sized promotion. So we are 1 point away, which is absolutely fantastic. We did also grow in other areas, like another area of Canada and Quebec, a few areas of the British Isles, and a few areas of Japan as well. But the big story being that we are 1 point away from medium popularity. Hopefully, we'll be able to get to that after NWA The House Always Wins, which will be the next episode. And speaking of that, this is where I'll end this episode. So thank you very much for watching. I really hope you did enjoy. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, hit that bell notification icon. If there's any wrestlers or personalities you want to see in this series, make sure to leave them in the comments below. And make sure you do come back for NWA The House Always Wins, which will be the next episodes. Once again, thank you very much, and I'll see you in Las Vegas.